Alright guys, welcome back to another episode. Today we're going to talk about using the order of operations with integers and exponents. Now, hardest part of all of this unit is this video, okay? We're probably going to have to slow down just a little bit in this video, make sure you really understand things, and hey, by the way, you're totally going to have questions, so make sure you come back and ask. Your objective for this video is, as a student, you should be able to apply the order of operations to simplify numerical expressions, but they're going to include integers and exponents. Okay, you are going to need graphic organizer number 5. You can go ahead and get it in the 7th grade unit. And once again, integers in real life. When do we use integers? Okay, we use it with money, debits and credits, bills and allowances, when we owe, when we have bank accounts. Also temperature, below and above 0, and sea level, below and above sea level. All right, so here's our first example. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. Last time we talked, we said, hey, we can get rid of some of these parentheses if they're just around negative numbers. And that's correct still, as long as there's not an exponent directly attached to it. So what I'm going to say is, if you see something like this, you can't get rid of those exponents, because remember, the exponent rules, okay, if it has parentheses around it, it's going to change as if it doesn't have. So if you remember those rules from last video and last lesson, you'll be able to do this a little bit better. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and show you which ones you can get rid of. So, for example, this one right here, okay, it's just around that -8. We can get rid of that parentheses. We can also actually get around this one right here because there's another parenthesis separating it from the 3. So we're all good right there. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try to make this a little bit easier. We can also get rid of this one because it's just around that -6. So I'm going to rewrite it to try to make it a little bit easier for us. And the first thing I'm going to do is 3 divided by, and then that first parentheses is important, okay, because that means we actually have stuff inside. -8 minus a -9, close the parentheses, cubed, times 5 plus a -6. So that's really what ours shows us. What do we do first? Well, we do inside parentheses. We have -8 minus a -9. So really what we need to do is we need to first change this to an addition sign. We have -8 plus 9. So we have an allowance of 9 and a bill of 8. That means we're going to have 1 left over. So we have 3 divided by 1, and we're done inside that parentheses. And it's not a -1, so it's just a regular 1. Okay, cubed times 5 plus a -6. What do we do next? Well, we divide. 3 divided by 1. Well, sorry, we don't divide. I apologize. We do our exponent first. 1 cubed. What's 1 cubed? Well, 1 times 1 times 1 is just 1. So we have 3 divided by 1 times 5 plus a -6. What do we do next? Well, we have multiplying and dividing. So we're going to do from left to right because we have both multiply and, or divide and multiply. So 3 divided by 1 is 3. So we have 3 times 5 plus a -6. Okay? And finally, 3 times 5 is 15, and 15 plus -6 is going to be, we have an allowance of 15, but we have to pay a bill of 6. We have $9 left over, okay? And that should be your answer. You should have an answer of 9, okay? We're going to show a couple more. They're going to get a little bit harder, so let's just move on. Example number 2, okay? This one, all right. Once again, looks like we've got some extra parentheses that we don't really need. Those are okay. There's nothing inside them. I'm just going to leave them like that this time. We're just going to work on inside the parentheses. So if we work on inside this one, what do we do first? Well, we need to do 7 squared because exponents come before adding. 7 squared is 49. So we have 3 plus 49 divided by, and I can get rid of them now if I want, -4 times -3 minus 6. What do we do next? Well, 3 plus 49 is 52 divided by -4 times -3 minus 6. What do we do next? Well, division, multiplying, and subtraction. Okay, in this particular case, we need to do our division first. 52 divided by -4. Okay, we have a positive, Pete to Steve over here, right? So we have a positive number and we have a negative number, and 52 divided by 4 is 13. So we have 13 times -3 minus 6. What do we do next? Well, 13 times -3. We use Pete to Steve again. We have a positive and a negative, and once again, it's going to be a negative. So -39 minus 6, and those are both bills. -39 is a bill, minus 6 is a bill. Okay, so we owe 39 and we owe 6. that means we owe $45, and those are using all of your skills. So the answer to this one is negative 45. All right, let's use a little bit harder one. All right, now this one is one of those we have to be very careful about. I've told you that sometimes you can get rid of parentheses, but not all the time. And if you look at this one very closely, which I'm going to put an arrow under, okay, we actually cannot get rid of that one because it's a negative 2 and we have this exponent next to it. Directly next to it, nothing separated it. That means it's negative 2 squared. That also tells us, unfortunately, that we have to follow one of our exponent rules, which is that is negative 2 times negative 2. However, we can actually get rid of the second one over here because it's just around a number, negative 9. So we're going to go ahead and rewrite this. That's the first thing I'm going to do, all right, which is negative 2. You know what? Let's not rewrite it. Let's just go with what we've got. We'll just go with what we got. We'll see if we can figure it out. If you have questions for me, you can ask me later. Here we go. So inside parentheses, what do we do first? Well, we do exponents. So we need to do negative 2 squared. Negative 2 squared means negative 2 times negative 2. And negative 2 times negative 2 is 4. So we have 4 times 3 in parentheses divided by negative 9 minus 5 plus 2. I got rid of those parentheses because I didn't really need that extra one. All right. 4 times 3 is next because remember we work left to right when we have multiple parentheses. So we have 12. We're going to divide by negative 9 minus 5 plus 2. Inside this parentheses, what do I do first? Well, negative 9 minus 5. Those are both bills. That gives us a negative 14 plus 2. Okay? And we're dividing that. So 12 divided by negative 14 plus 2. We still have parentheses, negative 14 plus 2. Negative 14 is a bill. 2 is an allowance. If you owe me $14, you do have 2 of them. How much more do you need? Well, you still need $12. So it's negative 12. So 12 divided by negative 12, and we would use Pizza Steve again. Okay, we have a positive and a negative. 12 divided by negative 12 gives us a negative 1, and negative 1 should be your answer to example number 3. Let's try example number 4. All right, now this is one of those that's got a bunch of stuff in it. Okay, once again, okay, inside here, this parentheses does not matter because there's no exponent attached to it. This one does not matter. There's no exponent attached to it. This one does not matter. There is no exponent attached to it. However, this one does. You must leave that one there because that tells you what you're going to do with your exponent. Okay? So we have to be very careful. I'm going to go ahead and rewrite this so that everybody can see it right now. All right? And I'm going to make it so. All right. Here we go. We have 2 times negative 10 plus, I got to keep this parentheses, negative 3 squared minus a negative 4, close the parentheses, divided by negative 7. So let's go ahead and get started. Inside that parentheses, we have a, parentheses, I mean this big one right here that we're talking about. Inside this big parentheses, we have multiplying, adding, an exponent, and subtracting. What do we do first? Well, we need to do the exponent, okay, which I'm underlining right now. Negative 3 squared is the same thing as negative 3 times negative 3, and negative 3 times negative 3 gives us a positive 9. So we have 2 times negative 10 plus 9 minus a negative 4, close the parentheses, divided by negative 7. What do we do next? Well, we have multiplying, adding, and subtracting. We need to multiply first. 2 times negative 10. A positive times a negative gives us a negative, so it's negative 20 plus 9 minus a minus 4 divided by minus 7. Negative 20 plus 9 would be next because we have adding and subtracting. We're going to work from left to right inside our parentheses. Negative 20 plus 9, a bill of 20, an allowance of 9. That gives us negative 11 minus a minus 4 divided by negative 7. Negative 11 minus a minus 4. Minus a minus turns into a plus sign. Negative 11 plus 4, a bill of 11, an allowance of 4. We still need $7, so it's negative 7. Parentheses go away, divided by negative 7. And a negative divided by a negative equals a positive, and 7 divided by 7 is 1. Your answer should simply be 1. All right, guys, those were your 4 examples. I'm going to ask you to try 2 of them on your own. If you have some problems with these, which they are pretty confusing and they're pretty difficult looking, you need to go ahead and get started. Okay, so pause the video, get started. All right, I'm back. First thing you want to do is check and see if you rewrote it correctly. You should have 8 plus negative 8 in parentheses divided by, in parentheses, negative 4 squared minus a minus 5 times 7, close parentheses. Here we're going to go ahead and get started. We work on the one from left to right first. So 8 plus negative 8. 8 is an allowance, negative 8 is a bill. 8 plus negative 8, well, unfortunately, that is 0. 0 divided by negative 4 squared, and the squared should be on the outside, minus a negative 5 times 7. What do we do in our other parentheses? Well, we need to do exponents first. Negative 4 squared is negative 4 times negative 4, which is 16. 0 divided by, in parentheses, 16 minus a negative 5 times 7. And now that we're done with that, we have minus a minus, and we have times. So we need to go ahead and do multiplying first because we have subtraction and multiplying. 5 times 7 is 35. So we have 0 divided by 16 minus, and it's a negative 5 times 7, which gives us negative 35. So minus a negative 35. You have to be very careful with that. Now we have minus a minus, so we need to turn that into an adding. So 0 divided by 16 plus 35 is 51. 0 divided by 51, unfortunately 0 divided by 51 is just 0. So the answer should have been 0. That's your first one. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. This one, we needed to keep that parentheses. This one, with the arrows, you could have got rid of. So we have, in parentheses, 8 minus negative 2 squared plus negative 4, close the parentheses, divided by negative 5 times 3. Going to go ahead and get started. Do parentheses first. Negative 2 times negative 2 is 4, positive 4. So we have 8 minus 4 plus negative 4, divided by negative 5 times 3. In parentheses, we're going to do left to right. 8 minus 4 is 4. 4 plus a negative 4, divided by negative 5 times 3. 4 plus a negative 4, that gives us a 0. Divided by negative 5 times 3. 0 divided by negative 5, that's 0. Times 3, guess what? 0 times 3 is 0. You should have gotten 0 for both of your answers. Isn't that funny? Ladies and gentlemen, you have 2 more to do. These are your exit ticket. Show them to me when you're done. They are difficult. If you need help, come see me. This is a very difficult skill. Remember bills and allowances. Have your exponents notes out. And remember Pizza Steve. If you need any help, come see me. Good luck.